Hey friends, Wayne over here at the Ram Man Inc. Don't forget the ink. The Brake Answer Man. We're getting ready to send off Pete in California. We're getting ready to send off slang term TA valve. We're going to talk about this Mopar valve. This Mopar valve was the combination of several valves leading from 1966 up to 1970. This was introduced on Mopar's January 1st of 1970. They all came installed on the TAs and the AR Cudas. These cars, Mopar was trying to compete in autocross and stuff with Chevrolet and Ford, Ford's Boss 302 and yada yada yada, and they were designing some new concepts, and this is what they came up with. And of course, so this came out in January 1st, 1970. So what did they do here? Well, right here is what we call, this is our combination valve. And essentially, starting in 67, the original drum brake block, they just kept improving upon it. So right here, this safety switch, this is a pressure differential valve. So coming in from the master cylinder, both of these should be equal. And if they're not, then the high side will force the piston over, closing off what the valve believes to be a leak. And at the same time, as the piston moves off center here, it grounds on the block, and you got your circuit. You got your dummy light. So your dummy light is telling you that the valve is seeking its an unequal pressure coming in. So that's how it works. Pretty simple, pretty ingenious, huh? So back here in the back, what do we have here? A lot of people call this thing a proportion valve. Well, let me tell you, it ain't doing any proportioning. What it's doing is pressure reducing. I like to use terms of about what the gizmo does. So what's it trying to do? Well, what it's trying to do is it's trying to decrease the brake pressure to the rear brakes in a hybrid system. See, when drum brakes came out, and specifically hydraulic brakes, which was, I believe, Mr. Chrysler and gang came out with that, and Dodge Brothers and gang. But, so they knew that you didn't need much pressure. And so they've been making cars for all these decades, and then they get to disc brakes, and although disc brakes, they have a lot of benefits, they're not all that efficient. Squeezing on a rotating disc is not a very efficient way to stop it, but it's absolutely linear. That means it's steady all the way, and it cools real fast, so you get to use it multiple times. But anyway, so this basically is a pressure reducer, and it's designed to reduce the pressure, hopefully by about 1/3 or more. That's its purpose. Now, what is this little gizmo? This little gizmo is the metering block, and this is the beginning of anti-lock brakes. So, you need to have the back brakes always come on first. That's what you need. If the front brakes come on first and lock up, the ass end will come around and you will go into a spin, and you will continue to spin, an uncontrolled spin, until all of the kinetic energy is exhausted. Last thing you want to do, right? Yes. So, one of these things is this valve, it prevents brake fluid flow until approximately 130 psi. So this ensures that the back brakes always engage before the fronts. And at the same time, when it opens, it meters just a bit. It has more of a gradual flow in relative to hundredths of a second. It's not just a off on, wide open. So this is the beginning of anti-lock brakes. And that's why even in these early cars, talk about in your service manual, you feel a bump when you press on the brakes medium to hard on one of these cars. You feel a bump, and also this stem would come out, and that lets you know that the system's working. That bump is that opening up. That's that little open that you feel. So that's what you've got. Now, I hope this helps you out. I hope this explains a lot of things. And so if you're doing a Mopar, this is the best brake valve that you could possibly bolt on your older Mopar, and basically the best valve that you could bolt on any older antique car. I think you understand what it does. It did it fairly well for coming out in 1970. God bless you. God bless America. And happy Mopar. Bye.